In this video, we'll take an early look at the 2024 Week 1 main slate on FanDuel, focusing on quarterbacks, and it's coming up next. Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Lee with the Fantasy Football Consultants. Now, although this show is all about quarterbacks, we did film shows doing a deep dive for running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends on the main slate for FanDuel for Week 1. Links to those shows are in the description. Quick word of warning, we're doing these early look shows, so news could come out before the season that would change some of our opinions. That's why we are committed to do a final FanDuel Week 1 show where we'll do a full cash lineup and GPP plays, so you don't miss any of our content. Please like this video, and as well, most importantly, if you haven't yet, hit that red subscriber button followed by the bell icon to join the FFC family. Let's get right into it. Go to the studio and check out the players. All right, we're going to be taking a look at quarterbacks. And as we mentioned in our NFL DFS Master Class, we want to target high-scoring games. And there are 3 games, as we mentioned in the DraftKings main slate, on that show: Jacksonville at Miami, Indianapolis at Houston, and Arizona at Buffalo, all between 48.5 and 49.5 over under. But guess what? FanDuel has added for Week 1 to their main slate the Sunday night game. That is the LA Rams in Detroit, and that becomes the highest scoring game on the slate. So we're going to keep that in mind when we're thinking of quarterbacks for Week 1 on FanDuel. So let's take a look at the quarterbacks. And as we look at the listing, we know that there are 4 top quarterbacks in fantasy for 2024. And missing on the main slate is Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, and Pat Mahomes. That means Josh Allen is the star of the slate. And look, I have no problem if you want to go with Josh Allen, because not only is he a extremely talented quarterback, great in fantasy because he uses his legs. He averaged last year 47 rushing yards per game, but that's not the big story. Here's the big story. The big story is he's the guy around the goal line. He got 11 total rushing TDs. That is so valuable in upping his floor for cash and an ability to raise his ceiling in GPP play. Now, the other great thing about him is the game environment. He is he's at home. He is favored significantly by about 7 points. And on top of that, great implied total, 28, one of the best on the slates. If you want to say something negative about him, you could point out that he has a new receiving core, and how is that going to work? No Stephon Diggs, no Gabe Davis, and they didn't replace him with any big names. Journeyman Curtis Samuel has come in, and they drafted a wide receiver, Coleman. But look, love Josh Allen for Week 1. And I like him more than C.J. Stroud. At $700 discount, you get C.J. Stroud. I love C.J. Stroud as a real NFL player. Averaged 274 passing yards, just only 4 interceptions as a rookie. They add Josh Allen's old favorite target, Stephon Diggs, to the mix. So he's got a lot of weapons. You might expect he'll even progress further in his sophomore season. Here's my major problem with him. The difference between him and Josh Allen is just doesn't run the ball much, especially for a young guy, and they don't use him around the goal line to rush. Now, Joe Burrow is someone who's also in a great environment, home favorite, big favorite over New England. He lost Tyler Boyd, but he still has his two main weapons in Higgins and Chase to throw to. He's just an extremely talented quarterback. What's the concern I have with him is he ended last year with a wrist injury. Now, he has been playing in preseason, but I just want to have that 100% confidence that he is back 100%. I'd like to be able to do a wait and see on Burrow if there's another option I like more. FanDuel, as opposed to DraftKings, has priced this guy up. So probably a pass for me for Joe Burrow. Someone who I like more than Joe Burrow for week one is right underneath him at $100 less, Anthony Richardson. So look, this guy was extremely impressive last year. In 2 full games, he averaged 48 rushing yards. That's a higher average than Josh Allen, and 2 rushing TDs in those 2 full games that he played. And he had another 2 TDs in a game in which he didn't finish. He has a strong arm and a solid completion percentage of 60%. So there's a lot to like. What is the concern with him? It's obvious. Sample size. He played a whopping 4 games, and in 2 of those, he didn't complete them. So there's always that injury risk with Richardson. But man, hard not to like him. They see they've also priced up Kyler Murray here. He is a big dog at Buffalo. I don't like that matchup as much as you would think. But look, the thing to know about Kyler Murray is despite his knee injuries, he still delivered a top 5 per game rush stats and a top 10 overall. So now he came back last year from an ACL in the middle of the year. This is his first full year. So you would think that he would go back to being absolutely at 100%. So, man, I'm going to be in on Kyler Murray, just probably not for week one. Another guy I got to say I am out on for week one is Dak Prescott. Part of that is because of the matchup. He is at Cleveland, a tough defense. The other thing is his by far biggest weapon is CeeDee Lamb. And at least as I am recording this, he is still having contract squabbles. So will he be playing? And if he does play, will he have that full preseason under his belt to be ready to go in week one? So I am probably passing on Dak Prescott. The other thing to keep in mind, if you may remember, there was 3 seasons in a row where he had 6 total rushing TDs in each of those 3 seasons. That is really a thing of the past. He has only had 4 rushing TDs in the last 45 games. So they're just not using him along the goal line anymore like they did in the past. All right, so let's take a look at Tua. Man, they have Tua at $7,700. If you look at the old game log, it won't be hard to see when Tua excels. It is at the beginning of the year when the weather is warm, and certainly when he's at home. So if you're going to use Tua, this is a good spot. This is one of those high-scoring games I mentioned, them hosting Jacksonville. There's a small spread, so it has all the makings of a shootout. And if you are playing GPP and you want to use Tua in a stack, for example, with Tyreek Hill, I have no problems with that. So Justin Herbert is someone, he's currently has a foot injury, but I assume he'll be ready for week one. Man, I'm going to take a pass on Justin Herbert for week one for a couple reasons. One, he lost 2 of his biggest weapons, Keenan Allen, and then to a check down running back in Austin Eckler, and the change to the coaching staff. The new head coach is Jim Harbaugh, and I think they're going to be running the ball more than they have in the past. Could very well hurt Justin Herbert's value. And man, FanDuel is not a bargain. So I'm going to pass. Also going to pass on Kirk Cousins. He's not on Minnesota anymore. He's now on Atlanta. So I kind of want to see what he does in this offense. I assume with the new coaching staff and quite honestly, a better quarterback in Kirk Cousins, they are going to pass the ball more than they did last year. But I wanted to have a wait and see, and I want to wait and see how Kirk Cousins is recovered from his Achilles injury. Now, the guy didn't run at all before, so he's never given you anything fantasy-wise on the ground. But I want to make sure the guy is mobile back there to be able to avoid the rush and things. So let's do a wait and see on Kirk Cousins for week 1. Now, the next two guys I'm pretty excited about, partially because game environment. Jared Goff playing in one of the highest scoring games in a dome, and Trevor Lawrence, the other half of that Jacksonville-Miami game. Again, you may find that you need some salary relief from a stack that includes Tyreek Hill. So I don't have a problem stacking on the Jacksonville side with Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk, who is at a reasonable price, and running that back with a Tyreek Hill to begin your GPP lineup. But I do have to say, as a Trevor Lawrence owner from last year, it was really disappointing, folks. I believe in Lawrence's talent, so I still think he's going to be a top NFL quarterback. But last year was a mystery to me. I mean, the guy, there was so much fanfare. I bought into it that they brought in Calvin Ridley. And what turns out, he had a worse year than he did the year before. So we're going to see what happens. But Jared Goff, excited to potentially use him in game 1. Just watch out with Jared Goff here. He's not going to give you much on the ground, but he's got a lot of weapons to throw to, and someone that I'll at least give a look at. But if you're going to think about playing in that game, I don't know. I'm going to go on the other side of the field, and I kind of like the aspect of going with Matthew Stafford. He's a little bit cheaper than Goff if you need the couple $100 of salary relief. At the same time, he can salivate because he's actually should be able to start the season healthy with 2 healthy wide receivers in both Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. So in what should be a shootout game, I think Stafford is someone that's worth a look. Now, a couple other guys I want to talk about, which will give you some salary relief. And I really like a couple guys in good game environments. When I say good game environments, you like quarterbacks that are home. You like quarterbacks that are favored. You like quarterbacks that have an implied total greater than 23. That is met by both Caleb Williams and Geno Smith. Now, I know some people are a little nervous about starting rookies in week 1. I'm less nervous. I mean, Caleb Williams is the real deal. He is the number 1 overall pick, and he's got lots of weapons to throw to. Keenan Allen is now a Bear. DJ Moore is coming back. And then they drafted in the first round, in addition to Williams, they drafted Rome Odunze. So, and they faced a Tennessee defense that was not good last year. So I kind of like Caleb Williams as a sneaky play at 7,100. And I probably, if you're okay with rookies and you want to get a rookie, and by the way, Caleb Williams is no Lamar Jackson in running, but he's going to give you a little something with his legs, far more than a Jared Goff or a Matthew Stafford. If you're okay playing rookies, here's one for you, Jayden Daniels. Let me tell you a little bit about what Jayden Daniels did as a quarterback in his final year in college. He ran for 1,134 yards. That's more rushing yards than any quarterback in college since Lamar Jackson. But he's also was a great passer. He threw for 40 TDs and only 4 interceptions. He goes to a Commander team that, they first of all, they didn't have a very good defense last year, and I don't think they'll have a good defense this year. So I think that the offense is going to have to produce here against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So let's see what happens here. I will not blame you if you want to go with Jayden Daniels. He's more of a discount on DraftKings, so I'm higher than him on DraftKings and FanDuel. But I mean, $7,000 is $2,200 less than Josh Allen, a significant savings. As you take a look, I'm not going to really talk about anyone else in depth. I said, you guys know I'm a big Seahawk fan. Geno Smith has plenty of weapons to throw to, and like I said, he's in a good game environment. But I'm not super high on him for week one. All indications are that Russell Wilson is going to win the job in Pittsburgh. But if Justin Fields wins the job, and since Justin Fields is so dangerous on the ground, he's someone to consider at $6,900. I'm always a Gardner Minshew fan. If he wins the job in Las Vegas, he's worth a look. And unfortunately, J.J. McCarthy is now out for the year. So Sam Darnold has a lot of great weapons, including Justin Jefferson, to throw to in Minnesota. But I got to tell you guys, I'm going to shy away from all these guys. I'm not going to pick Sam Darnold. I'm not going to pick Gardner Minshew. Some people are high on Daniel Jones. I'm not, because of what he can do with his legs. Because Jayden Daniels is only a couple $100 more than all these guys. Caleb Williams, same thing, only a couple $100 more than these guys. And I'd rather go with them. So I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about FanDuel's main slate here, including the Sunday night game? Who do you like of the quarterbacks, and why, given their FanDuel price? Looking forward to a great NFL DFS season on FanDuel and DraftKings. Until our next video, take care, everybody. On your screen right now is 2 videos that we think you'll enjoy.